Okay, the next item is item number 6, application for a certificate of appropriateness at 279 Lafayette Avenue, the Emmanuel Baptist Church, an individual landmark, docket number 15-9610, block 1932, lot 42, a Romanesque style church with early Gothic style details designed by Francis H. Kimball and built in 1887. This is an application to construct a barrier-free access ramp and install railings and lighting.
Good morning, Commissioners. William Neely with the Preservation staff. This individual landmark is located within the Clinton Hill Historic District at the northwest corner of Lafayette Avenue and St. James Place. I'd ask you to take a look at the photographs at the end of your handout for the best overview of what the work is going to look like. The construction of the ramp is going to entail the removal of an existing wheelchair lift, which was installed pursuant to a commission approval in 1998. And it's going to match the details of a ramp at the entrance to the parish house on St. James Place that was also installed in 1998. Also, a welcome to our new commissioners, Shamir Barron and Gustafson. So you know, the staff may approve some very minor modifications to entrances to provide for barrier-free access. However, more substantial alterations, such as the construction of ramps and wheelchair lifts, always come in front of the commission. That's why this is in front of you today. So I'd like to turn that over to the applicant to explain the proposal.
Good morning, everyone. How is everyone doing today? We are very pleased to present this proposal to you for a ramp at Emmanuel Baptist Church, which allows... Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Andrea Harris from Design 8 Architecture. And we are again proposing a ramp to the Thank you. Okay. It's an historic, obviously it's an historic church. Built in 1887 by Francis H. Kimball. And we are proposing to remove this section of the yard that's here right now and carefully remove the existing hedges and preserve them. And we're going to install a ADA accessible ramp off of St. James so that the residents of the area can access the main area of the church. There's a blow-up detail. We studied the site very carefully, and again, our goal is to not detract from the architecture of the church. Again, we've studied all of the details. The elevation is here, and we're also relocating the two lamps that are on the side, and we're placing them in the center. We're also, because we're doing that, we're also adding additional lighting that is not there right now, because the pastor was, again, making sure that at night the church was lit. Great. Oh, thank you so much. Okay. In this area over here, it's very dark, so we have we've installed a flood lamp that's embedded in the planter. Go back. Oh, right here. So we have a flood lamp that's in here that's not visible from the street. And again, we're carefully removing the existing lamp to the center. This is St. James side. There's an existing ramp right here. And our goal is, again, to match the railing that's here with our railing that is over here, so that there won't be any discernible difference like it always existed. This is the proposed Gothic-style lamp for the sconce. This is the flood lamp that will be embedded in the concrete. This is the existing, obviously, photograph of the church in the front on Lafayette. And this is off of St. James, looking at Lafayette. This is the corner that we're talking about. This is the globe of the beautiful architecture. They have an accessible lift that doesn't work. It hasn't worked in years. And we're actually removing this. Again, another detail. This is the ramp off on the side, and this is the railing that's here. Again, we're going to match that railing. And this is the planting area that I'm talking about, where we're going to put the flood lamp. This is a detail of the condition of the lamp to show that it can be removed. This is the rendering. Again, showing that we're going to integrate into the existing railing that's there now, so again, not detract from the church. This is the side. This is a night view, again, to make sure that the church is lit. And again, this is off of St. James. And that's my presentation.
Thank you. Are there questions? Yes, Michael?
Thank you. A couple of questions.
Sure,
There's already an ADA ramp going to the church, but it's not going to the front door,
that
right?
is correct.
This is being done because the community wants to have everyone come through the front door.
Yes, and also, unfortunately, I did not bring an existing floor plan, but in order for you to get to the main tabernacle from that ramp, it is very convoluted, and yeah, it's really convoluted, and you can't really get there in a quick manner. And so again, they want to make sure that the residents can actually just go right on into the main entry and, have services.
Thank you.
Commissioner, I can jump in. Having been to this site, the wing of the building on St. James Place to the north, while it was built at the same time as the sanctuary, functioned as like the parish offices, and it is not a direct connection, and it operates at separate levels.
Diana?
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to ask about you made a decision not to reinstall a lift at that location. I realize the one that's currently there is not working for a long time. And just address why you decided to do a ramp instead, because the ramp is, of course, much more intrusive to the facade, but, at the same time,
Correct. Again, this was brought on from the fact that due from a maintenance issue and a maintenance standpoint, and that this is very heavy to remove, and so in order to get this thing off, and in order to do all the stuff they need to do for the ramp, to get a patron in there, it's just too hectic. It's not a good thing. These things, and it's outside, it rusts, so they want to get rid of it, and this way you can just go on in without any fanfare.
Yes. Roberta and then Michael
That was
again.
sort of my question too, in terms of choosing the right way to get in. The objective is to get people in through the main doors. But so if the problem with the existing chairlift is that this chairlift is broken or doesn't work or whatever, did you look before the ramp or at the same time at other lifts there? Because this lift, whatever it is something that's going to catch your eye. A ramp is going to catch your eye in even a bigger way.
Right. Well, again, because it's outside, it's in the weather, and
yes,
to operate it.
Other chairlifts.
Right. We did look, but again, the easiest way without any interference from anyone is that somebody could just go up the ramp and go to church without having to press a button or anything. They just go right on in. And that was the main issue, was for somebody to easily get in without any intervention of mechanical equipment.
Yeah, but just in terms of the effect on the building itself, a ramp is more visible and more.
Well, again,
did I hear you saying
yeah,
that?
again, we tried to make sure that it wouldn't be.
I hear you saying in the context that part of it is traffic, that when everybody's coming into the church, that if there's a lot of, let's say, elderly people as well as people with disabilities, that just operating the lift is an issue at the
Yeah.
front? That's part of the issue?
That's part of the issue, because again, there's, I believe from the community makeup, there's a fairly large community that the community really wants this. And for somebody to wait in line to get on a lift, when you could just walk right on in, you know, that was the main issue.
Yes.
That was also an issue.
Did you ever consider, you chose to put the ramp, it looks to me, on the steepest part of the site, the downhillist part of the site, where the rise is the highest. Did you explore putting it on the opposite side, where the steps are shallower to the left in this rendering, so that
Well-
it goes in front of the chapter house?
And can't you ask that? Because again, we wanted to hide the ramp.
Behind the
Yeah,
vegetation?
behind the, because again, we didn't want to try, I mean, could you, ooh, go back. We didn't want to
Right,
put a
that would
ramp
be-
right in front of, in the architecture, that would,
All right.
yeah. We didn't want to detract from the church.
Or whatever the general policy that the mayor's office, from an ADA perspective, ramps are preferable to
the lifts.
Precisely because of the maintenance and other issues. And, both will satisfy ADA, but there's a preference for a ramp that does not require any assistance or any,
Yeah, but, I don't know.
Right, I think able to move people more efficiently into the building.
And the ramp is hidden, you're saying, because you don't have like a, what do you call it, a rendering that shows.
Yeah,
They do.
It's rendering. This is the rendering.
So let's
You
see
go to
the,
the next
one.
let's see
Oh, I'm sorry.
more of it then.
That's
So
correct.
Right,
you're
so-
saying- And so the railing is also hidden?
Yeah, it's right-
Everything is hidden?
It's
No,
right
it's right
here. This is the rendering of the new
Okay.
ramp, of the proposed ramp.
Yeah.
If the architect can scroll through to the entrance to the parish house on St. James, the dimension of this planting bed remains constant
Okay.
between the church and the north wing. So there is a previously constructed, very similar installation to look at.
Is there a ramp there now?
There's an existing ramp, but
This one.
this
We,
is,
we approved.
Yeah, this was done in 1998, yeah.
and they're using the same vocabulary. I think it's
Yes.
just that the length is somewhat
Oh, I
different.
see. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, again, if you go, let me go back to the detail. Yes, this is, right, this is the ramp, looking through. And again, we thought about the height, we made sure that, again, we looked at the detail. I mean,
Right, the location, which
yes,
where it could be.
location and
least
we're gonna match the color of
intrusive.
the concrete the same color as the stone that's there now. Again, minimal as much as possible not to detract from the beautiful church, as much as possible.
The face of the ramp that's visible is, did you say that's concrete or
Colored
stone?
concrete to match the concrete that's there now. To match this, I have a better color. Yeah, this is like a reddish, unfortunately the photograph is not good, but it's like a reddish color, so we're gonna match that stone, the stone that's here now, and this is concrete, this is here, this little bit right here. So we're gonna match everything that's there now.
I'm asking,
Okay.
is this
I didn't
concrete or
realize
stone?
it was
This is
on-
stone,
Okay,
This is
so
stone.
your ramp,
this concrete, and we're gonna match it,
the ramp,
yes. Yeah, I'm sorry.
no, your new ramp, where's your new ramp?
Seems like a lot of ramps. And you're
Oh,
keeping the other
yes,
one.
we're gonna match.
Yeah, question is, can this be stone? I mean,
It'll be more expensive to do it in stone. So we decided to do one medium, just to make it, obviously quicker and less, cost effective for the client. But again, you can actually texture the concrete to whatever you want, and I'm pretty sure that the client and hopefully you guys will be satisfied with what we do.
But you're
Yeah,
saying
we've
that
done
this
that
stone-
before, Sarah. We've looked at concrete. We've done cast stone concrete to somehow match.
Oh, is that what? Yeah.
Yes,
So you are saying it would be cast stone to
cast concrete.
cast
Yeah,
concrete?
it's concrete.
Cast in place, not.
Yeah, cast in place, right.
Cast stones, precast.
So is it, so we're not saying it's
Is
cast
that
stone,
better,
it's just
or-
cast in place?
Well, precast has more consistency, but it has big joints. So
Okay, and if the,
people use both. And is this like like a cement arching over concrete block?
No,
or
this
it's
is
like
colored, this is
poured
colored,
concrete?
it's poured with color, yeah, we're coloring it.
All right, are there other comments?
That other light, what is
Yes.
that floodlight? Show us, can she show it, wait, can you show that floodlight, where that is?
Right here.
It's, right.
Yeah, the pastor was very concerned because at this point, this area here,
It's
I
dark.
believe homeless people and whatnot try and hang
Yeah.
out there. So we wanted to put more additional lighting, kind of like a deterrent.
Right, and just to jump in, commissioners, the installation of fixtures like that that are concealed and out of sight is typically handled by the staff. You know, we do ask the applicant to show you the entire scope of work, just so you're aware of it, but that would be approved by staff on it.
So the lighting that you're looking at are the relocation of the two lamps?
Correct. These lamp right here, these two, and then we're
And
adding
two
the sconces
sconces.
here. Partly those.
All right, any other questions for the applicant? All right, we'll take public testimony. Are there any speakers on this item? Any speakers? The Community Board, too, has sent in their resolution. The committee was impressed by the elegant solution, which replaced a mechanicalized lift at the entrance to the Emmanuel Baptist Church, and recommend that LPC approve this application. Are there any other questions for the applicant? Okay, we can close the hearing. All right, are there, we've heard some of the discussion regarding this. I think the rationale as to why they need the ramp has been presented through the course of our discussion. And I think they've tried, again, this is an individual landmark. I think the impacts should be scrutinized very heavily by the commission, but it seems that they, again, have certain practical issues about using their existing ramp and being able to connect to the spaces in the main space, congregation space, and they would like more access. It seems that the mechanical lift has created some problems. The city overall has a policy that ramps are a better method to allow people with disabilities to enter spaces. They've used a very similar vocabulary. It also seems that they've been very thoughtful in terms of their site planning as to where's the most appropriate location. So I think that what they proposed here in terms of the design of the ramp, the fact that it's obscured by the existing hedges, and is very similar, if not identical to the vocabulary that the commission's already approved over here, that this would be appropriate. Yes.
Echo many of those thoughts as well. I think many houses of worship, like many other buildings in New York that are come before us because of their age, somehow in those days steps were fine. In our day, steps are not so fine, and we have to overcome them. Many buildings are not so easily overcome as this is. The setback, the hedge, the curbing, and all, it seems almost tailor-made in comparison to other buildings where it's so desirable to eliminate steps at the main door. So I think all in all, this is not only a fine replacement. By the way, I just think the idea of a mechanical lift is a disaster always, and is to try to be avoided if all possible. That should be the last recourse, I think. So this is very well done, very well thought through. I think the issue of the stone in that one little area that Addie just mentioned a minute ago would be a nice touch that could be handled by staff. But all in all, the ramp and the lighting, which is being added, I think is appropriate, and a dignified improvement and an appropriate improvement to an extraordinary building, which seems to be very well maintained over a long period of time. So I support it.
Any other comments? Yes, Roberta?
No, I just want to say that I agree. I think that now that we've looked at the options, that as shown, that ramp does seem to work, and you do get back a cleaner entrance in terms of the steps. But I also think that that idea of actually using stone in that place, that one little place, I think is an important feature. I mean, that would add,
You
the
mean
fact it's an individual landmark to have it in stone. Just that, I think it's just the front.
It's just the front and it's
Precast.
prominent.
Yeah, precast, yeah.
Which is
It's a small
actually
piece, and I
not too
think that,
expensive, you know, really, yeah.
right, because that's a feature that doesn't exist right
Yeah.
now. If you're going to treat it, why not treat it with the material that's most consistent with the historic fabric? Yes.
And just a minor comment in addition to that, if we're looking at either adding the stone or not, I think that you could bring it a little bit closer to the building by looking at some of the details of how that sandstone or brownstone is handled, either at the planter or at the base of the columns, and maybe pull a little bit of that detail in, and it might just make it look a little less
Yeah.
alien.
Right, so why don't we ask them to work with staff on that?
That's awesome.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
All right. I think we've already closed the hearing. Okay. Roberta, would you like to read the resolution?
Okay, in the matter of 279 Lafayette Avenue, Emmanuel Baptist Church, individual landmark. Application is to construct a barrier-free access ramp and install railings and lightings. I recommend approval, finding that the scale and low profile of the proposed ramp and its placement in the planting bed adjoining the church will not detract from the composition of the building's facades and its relationship to the streetscape. That the alterations to accommodate the ramp, including removing a portion of the brownstone wall at the planting bed and extending the top brownstone tread at the eastmost arched portal, will have a minimal impact on original fabric and will maintain the overall site design and the relationship of the dominant elements of the building's front elevation. That the painted metal railing and light fixtures and brownstone tinted concrete will blend with the historic materials presented in the church and site. That the proposed ramp and railings are harmonious with the building's Romanesque and Gothic style ornament in terms of their simple contemporary design and will match the previously approved by the Commission on St. James Place. That the proposed light sconces are in keeping with the facade in terms of their scale, ornamental detail, and location, and that relocation of the lamppost to the front steps will retain significant historic fabric, and the proposed location will maintain the symmetrical composition of the main entrance. And we ask the applicant to work with staff in using precast stone at the,
Using stone,
this precast,
just stone.
no, just stone, okay. We ask them to use, to work with the staff in using stone at the entrance beside, at the lower side at the end of the ramp, and maybe use details already existing in that lower wall.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, this resolution's been passed.